Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first official podcast of Not the Best Media. My name is David.
And I'm Ivan.
And we're here to talk to you about a bunch of shit. Movies, TV shows, anime, music, whatever generally we feel like talking about, we're going to talk about it. Today, we're just going to focus on a lot of movie news that came out during the week, starting with AntMan. So Marvel has released the first official logo and a little behind-the-scenes snippet of AntMan and the Wasp.
I like the logo. Personally, I think it looks a little like retro-ish. You know, I mean, just I don't know what it is, just like the font style or something about it.
Basically, that's really all it is.
Like, it makes me feel like I'm looking at one of those old previews for like Swamp Lagoon or some shit, you know?
Yeah, did you like the first Ant-Man?
I did. I mean, it definitely wasn't the strongest Marvel movie at the point, but I mean, it was a fun little, I guess, popcorn flick. Just because I feel like Ant-Man was never really the like serious just type of movie that I guess Marvel has.
Right, it's very silly, very goofy.
Yeah, definitely, and I could definitely see that coming from this one, just based off what I saw now.
Do you have any high hopes for this movie?
High hopes?
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be one of those movies where if I see it, you know, okay, I'm happy with it. If I don't, not a big loss, you know. Like, I'm not gonna go out of my way and call some things off to go see it.
Yeah, it's the same, returning cast, same director. I think Michelle Pfeiffer was officially casted as the older Wasp.
Yeah.
So, interesting story points. This movie is set after the events of Infinity War, ? At least it comes out after Infinity War for sure. So it'll be interesting to see where this movie fits in chronologically in the Marvel timeline. Especially since, I don't know if you've noticed, Ivan, but people have been flipping out over the Avengers Infinity War poster because Ant-Man is nowhere to be found. Is he just running off in a side quest, or is he too small to see?
If I think he's too small to see, I wouldn't put it past him to shrink him down and hide him somewhere.
Sure. He wasn't in that leaked trailer either.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're saving him. Or maybe he's off doing a side quest. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely pull like a Thor Ragnarok type of thing where he's
off doing his own thing, and we'll eventually see it when it comes to that. All right. Moving on to DC news. The Flash. Already. The Flash. So, The Flash has had some trouble getting off the ground. It's been through a whole bunch of different writers. It's gone through 3 different directors. And so now they're reframing it so that the movie is going to be an adaptation of Flashpoint. Do you know anything about the Flashpoint storyline?
All right, so just very bare minimal. Correct me if I'm wrong. He like goes back in time and changes a few things, and then he ends up like in a parallel universe.
Yeah, essentially. So DC, the DCEU films haven't been the best. And maybe they're trying to do some retooling by going back into the past. Is this too soon?
All the other movies were garbage. For them, I just feel like this is just a giant, like, them waving a wand, trying to erase everything bad and try to listen to the fans. And even this, I feel like they're still going to mess it up. And it's still going to be, pretty bad.
Yeah. Going back in time is a tool that a lot of screenwriters use to kind of fix things that they've done in the past. So X-Men Days of Future Past kind of redid some of the things from X-Men 3.
Yeah.
Or Terminator Genesis tried to redo some of the things from the 3rd or 4th Terminator. Sometimes it works out for, X-Men's case. Sometimes it's really shit in the example of Terminator. DC, they are only like 5 movies into their DCEU, and they're already trying to reboot things. Some people are claiming that Ben Affleck doesn't want to even be Batman anymore. Is that why they're doing this? How can you see alternate timelines of characters you just established? I'm personally not a big fan of that route.
No.
Like, for your first Flash movie, maybe just make a Flash movie. Maybe don't make a Justice League Part 2 with Flash that happens to be in it. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'm looking forward to the movie, not because I'm going to see it, but mostly because I can't wait to just rip on it, or just see what kind of like stupid idiotic thing they kind of try to pull.
Well, they don't even have. I don't think they have a director attached yet. Still, so it's basically just a concept right now, and maybe they'll end up just scrapping it all over again and just starting all over again,
Hey,
like they did for the fourth time.
If we're lucky, they might just scrap the entire DCU right now.
Maybe this is what they're trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to restart the whole DCEU with this movie. It's been rumored that Wonder Woman, Ben Affleck as Batman, and Jason Momoa as Aquaman are all set to return for this movie. So it seems like they are kind of going for the Flashpoint paradox. Hopefully they'll get it right. They got Wonder Woman right. Justice League's still not out yet. Any thoughts on Justice League? No. None. Looks like shit.
Yeah, I ignored DC.
If Justice League comes out and it's good, will that restore a little bit of your faith into the direction they're going?
A small amount, yeah. Because maybe they're they got their shit together, or maybe they're trying to push towards something good. But I mean, honestly, I just don't see it.
The Flash film is set to be released in 2020, so they still got a lot of time to try and figure things out, between here and there. I'm still kind of looking forward to James Wan's Aquaman, so hopefully by the time we get to this movie, I think we'll even have seen Wonder Woman 2 by that point. So hopefully by the time they get there, the concept will seem less like a red flag. Oh, fuck, we're trying to restart everything to make fans happy. And hopefully by then it will seem like a good idea.
And only time will tell.
Yes. Speaking of time, Pacific Rim 2 has been delayed again. This time only by 1 month. It's now getting, instead of a February release date, it has now been pushed back to March 23rd. It's gotten out of the way of Black Panther, and now it's going 1 week before Ready Player One, a movie we're both looking forward to.
See, okay, I'm interested in seeing what the specific reason of pushing it back was. I mean, just like based off what I can see, I kind of think they were just trying to avoid Black Panther.
Probably.
Because I mean, I feel like they probably know it's going to be like a pretty big powerhouse in February, and I mean, it might be better. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the original Pacific Rim kind of come up against some stuff when it came out?
I'm not sure. It came out in August. August is usually like a dead ground for movies until like Guardians of the Galaxy came out. It's not a lot of movies were known to come out in August, so I don't think it had a lot of competition.
Okay.
But even then, it didn't make a lot of money. It definitely made its budget back, but mostly overseas. So I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm pretty excited to see how this turns out. I love me some Jaegers.
You loved Pacific Rim.
Yes.
So you're looking forward to this.
Oh, absolutely.
You think it has a better chance financially going up against Ready Player One than Black Panther?
See, this is...
You go to a movie theater, you have to choose between seeing Pacific Rim 2 and Ready Player One. Which do you see?
I'm going to go straight for Ready Player One.
Gotta do it.
Because, honestly, it's just more fresh in my mind right now. Pacific Rim came out when?
2013. So by the time this movie would come out, it'd be 5 years.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty far back in my mind, honestly. Like I said, Ready Player One's more fresh, and I definitely am a little bit more excited for that. Honestly.
You do read it every once in a while, right?
Yeah, pretty much once a month.
Damn. There's a lot of rabid fans for that source material, but a Steven Spielberg movie hasn't done the greatest financially in a couple of years. His last movie was the BFG, and that tanked in the box office. That was like a prime time 2016 July release, and it failed pretty miserably. Steven Spielberg hasn't directed a blockbuster in a long time, probably since Minority Report. Movies he's been directing have been like small little indie films. They've been doing great for him. He's been getting those Oscars, but they haven't been getting the money like he used to back when he was making Indiana Jones or Jaws, Jurassic Park. Are you worried at all for Ready Player One?
Honestly, I am a little bit worried. I kind of fall into the same category where I'm a little worried about the source material being pretty twisted up.
Sure.
And I'm I mean, I like the fact that he's attached to it because it definitely does give a lot of leeway legally with trying to get licensing and stuff like that for the book, since the book is pretty much just jam packed with different franchises and stuff. But I mean, honestly, I can't really give my opinion right now. It's because we saw that teaser trailer, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the Comic-Con trailer.
Yeah, and I mean that had no plot in it whatsoever.
There was a teaser, just to whet your little appetite.
Yeah, honestly. So I mean, it definitely did that. I think I give more of a fair opinion on that once the actual trailer comes out, and kind of go from there. But as of right now, I'm still pretty excited. I still definitely want to see it. A little concerned about source material being twisted up, but
it's an adaptation, Ivan. Liberties have to be taken, as with anything. It's Steven Spielberg. I have no doubt in my mind that the movie is going to be good. I'm just not sure financially how it's going to bank, especially with a movie where it's giant robots punching giant monsters in the face. Like, that's pretty much going to be the same kind of fan base going after both movies.
I'm definitely going to see both of them, honestly. So
maybe we'll have a better idea about how the two will fare together once we see a trailer for Pacific Rim 2.
Yes, that's definitely a fair assumption.
We only had like some weird viral marketing going on.
Like, it was like, what, a website where you can check out the Jaegers or something?
Yeah, it was like John Boyega doing an ad. Join our Jaeger program. I'm John Boyega. Like, I don't know. Show me a real trailer. Show me some monsters getting punched in the face. Apparently, the movie takes place 10 years after the events of the first movie. I guess that explains why Charlie Hunnam's not in it. I don't know. It's not important, I guess. Show me the trailer. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Speaking of trailers, we got the first trailer for Goodbye, Christopher Robin. This is not like any of the comic book movies we were talking about. It's like a little indie drama about a guy going through some PTSD during World War One or World War Two?
No,
World War One. And he writes the famous story of Winnie the Pooh for his son, Christopher Robin. I thought this trailer was great. I thought it was really heartwarming. I'm not a fan of Winnie the Pooh per se, but I love a lot of like behind the scenes type of stories anyway. So seeing how this all came about, I'm very interested in seeing how this movie ends up being. How about you?
All right, well, just right off the bat, I can tell you, I thought the trailer started off really creepy.
Creepy in what sense?
I mean, just like it starts off with Christopher Robin, the child, kind of like God bless mommy, and like, it just creeped
like
me
a
out.
horror film or something.
Yeah, I was expecting for like Winnie the Pooh to pop out like a closet somewhere and do some scary shit. That's me personally, and I mean, I'm not a big fan of this child actor, and I know
I don't think he's ever been in anything. This might be his first.
I know you're supposed to, be a little more lenient with child actors. I know it's harder, and
It is hard to cast child actors. That's true. That is hard.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to see another trailer for it.
Sure.
Because, like I said, right now it just looks a little creepy right off the bat for me.
Just tonally speaking, you're saying.
Tone, yeah.
Sure, I get that. Speaking of tone, DC's looking to lighten up. We got more DC news, Ivan. DC's looking to make a more lighthearted universe with their movie Shazam. Have you heard about Shazam? You know what this is?
Yeah, it's like that kid who turns into a superhero
by saying Shazam.
Shazam.
This movie is supposed to have The Rock in it. They announced it like 7 years ago or something. I'm not looking forward to this at all.
No, absolutely not. How do you go from Batman shooting people in the face?
In the face with guns.
And just like to a lighthearted, hey,
a little kid.
I'm a superhero. No, like, please stop. Like, this is going to be one of those things that the Flashpoint's going to fix.
Oh, man. It does come out before Flashpoint. This will be out in 2019. That's what it's scheduled for right now. It doesn't even have a cast. I still think the only person that's cast in it is The Rock as Black Adam, who would be the villain in this movie, maybe anti-hero in this movie. So they don't even have the kid or who's going to actually play Shazam, and what's the point of announcing Shazam news without Shazam? I just don't see tonally how it can fit into this bleak and grim DC universe that they've made. So Wonder Woman was probably their more optimistic movie out of all of them that they've made, but still that movie still had some like kind of grit to it, some grounded grit to it. It was based on the horrors of World War One, obviously, and so they can make optimistic movies that still feel grounded in this DC universe. But how do you go to that to like a little kid fighting the Rock? That's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
I don't see it coming together very well.
Does he even show up in Justice League? Do they ignore it? Is it just like the black sheep of the DC universe?
I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was even a little hesitant on Spider-Man, just having the main character be so young.
Sure.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the kid who's Shazam is like, isn't he younger than?
I think he's just a little boy.
Yeah, like that's what I'm thinking.
Like Christopher Robin H.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is definitely gonna be. It's gonna be a Hail Mary. It's gonna definitely be a long shot.
Easy.
And if they play it off, I don't see how they could actually make it work. But if they do, I will eat my words, honestly.
The only thing that has me excited for this is that the director is David F. Sandberg. Do you recognize that name? He's a horror guy. He directed the 2016 hit Lights Out and the more recent Annabelle Creation, which surprisingly I hear is very fucking good.
Yeah.
First Annabelle like got panned critically. I definitely want to check out the sequel. I think this guy can really direct something. I just still don't know tonally how that's going to fit in. How do you get a horror director to make something lighthearted and like a gritty universe already that I hate watching? I don't know how they're going to pull it off.
I think they're just twisting things up way too much.
This, along with the Flashpoint news, definitely seems like DC is just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I definitely see that, and it feels like that.
A studio that's got their shit together, Fox. They're doing pretty good with X-Men. They most recently came out with Logan. Amazing movie.
Absolutely.
Last year they had Deadpool. Fantastic movie. Yes. They're working on Deadpool 2. We just got to see pictures of Josh Brolin as Cable. What do you think of those pictures?
A part of me kind of feels like it looked a little too cartoony.
Sure.
I gotta see the acting. I gotta see like the character. I gotta see.
Are you familiar with Cable at all?
Very slightly.
I think I know just what was shown from like the animated series back in the 90s. So like I don't know a lot about him. I think he's supposed to be cartoony. Deadpool is a very silly, meta, cartoony type character to begin with. I mean, you look at the picture, Cable has a teddy bear strapped to like his ammo, like around his belt. So like I'm sure they're gonna have a lot of fun with this, even if he does come across as like this hardened badass and he's very serious and Deadpool's really silly. I think he's gonna have a great time riffing off of Deadpool. The first Deadpool had a great marketing campaign. I think that helped a lot with its success. So if they keep releasing stuff like this, have some great trailers, I think it's gonna be in great hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's not in great hands, Ivan? The state of the Transformers saga. So,
oh god,
there's 5 of them, and we're finally gonna get one that's not directed by Michael Bay. Thank God. It's a spin-off, and it stars Bumblebee, and it's gonna be set in the 80s.
Hasn't Bumblebee died like 5 times already at this point?
But this is before he died, or Optimus definitely died like twice. So this is set in the 80s, and it stars Haley Steinfeld, and we have our first picture of Haley Steinfeld as like a 80s kind of punk girl. Do you care?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I stopped caring about Transformers a long time ago.
Did you like the first movie at all, or you just never really got into it?
I think I liked the first one because I was like younger.
Yeah.
And I was like, robots, explosions, yeah.
Explosions.
Didn't we fall asleep watching
the fourth one?
Yeah.
Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
I don't understand why this isn't a reboot. There's no going back from the shit that Michael Bay has made out of the mythos of this franchise. Yeah. Why are you backpedaling? Why, like, if you're gonna reboot it, it's set in the 80s, new cast, new whatever, but it's still set in the Michael Bay-averse. Like, I love Haley Steinfeld. I thought she was great in The Edge of 17, but like, no actor can. They could announce like the greatest actor of all time. I don't know, anyone. And I will just not be excited to see them in a Transformers movie because that's how shit these movies are.
Honestly, like if I saw like one of the greatest actors ever right now, I'd just be like, wow, they're hard hit for money right now.
They sometimes pull in some great actors. Anthony Hopkins was in the 5th one. Stanley Tucci was in the 4th one. It's like every one they come out with. John Malkovich was in the 3rd one. I don't know, like, if do these guys owe Michael Bay some money that he keeps casting these talented actors? I don't know. Haley Steinfeld, I love you, but I don't care. The only saving grace for this is that it's actually not directed by Michael Bay. That being said, who cares?
Who is the director?
Oh, you know what? So Travis Knight is the director of this. Travis Knight directed 2016's Kubo and the Two Strings. Have you heard about that one?
Definitely heard about it, never seen it.
I love that movie. It's that stop animation movie by Laika Studios. I think that's a great fucking film. Why is he directing a Transformers movie? See, this would all be good if it were a reboot. Haley Steinfeld, Travis Knight from Kubo and the Two Strings, set in the 80s. This franchise is ripe for a reboot, and the potential is just very frustrating.
I have nothing more to add just because I hate Transformers so much.
Would you have anything to add about a cowboy who's also a ninja, who's also a Viking?
Alright, okay. At first, I definitely was not interested in this at all. I thought it was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
The more I looked into it, the more I'm like, okay, this might have something going for it right now.
So Cowboy Ninja Viking, that's a comic book?
Yeah, okay, so from my understanding, it's a comic book graphic novel where the government recruits people with like personality disorders to become assassins and like covert operations people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Chris Pratt's in this too. I'm really curious to see how this plays out. Personally, I think the only way this might play pretty well is if it got like an R rating.
Oh, I think now is a great time for R-rated comic book adaptations. They proved it with Deadpool. They proved it with Logan. They'd definitely give it to it if the source material demanded the R rating. I have no doubt in that.
Like I don't really know that much about the source material, but this just seems like one of those funny, almost Deadpool-esque, I guess.
Sure.
I could definitely see Chris Pratt blowing people's brains out as a spy.
As a Cowboy Ninja Viking spy.
Yeah, definitely. So
I mean, with a name like that, it's going to be goofy. It's going to be meta. Probably say something like Kingsman the Secret Service. How that movie was kind of over the top and overblown, but it was lots of fun and it was very violent. That's a very violent movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
This movie could very much be in that vein. So earlier I complimented Fox for doing pretty well with their X-Men series, right? So after every up, there's a down, right? They're also working on an X-Men TV series called The Gifted. This trailer is shit.
Oh, fucking garbage.
This trailer is awful.
Fucking garbage.
It's just so bland. It's very unforgettable. Or no, forgettable. I forgot this whole trailer. What are we talking about? Look, I mean it. And the sad part is it's directed. I don't know how much of it is directed. I think maybe just the first episode, but it's directed by Bryan Singer, who directed the X-Men movies. The first X-Men movie, which was one of the earliest comic book movies of all time, very influential. X-Men 2, X-Men United, which was a step above the first X-Men movie. He came back for Days of Future Past, which I think is an excellent film.
Yeah.
And then, he directed Apocalypse as well. That movie was pretty garbage. Now he's coming back with a TV show on Fox. It's airing on Fox. Does Fox make good TV still? Have
Bob's
they ever?
Burgers is pretty decent.
I don't know, man. Do we need X-Men TV? Have you seen Legion?
No.
Do you know what Legion aired on? Because was that also Fox?
I don't think so. Was it?
Because I heard Legion was fucking great. Okay, so apparently Legion was on FX. So this is totally unrelated. It's a completely different studio made by completely different people. It's gonna suck.
Yeah, it looks absolutely garbage from the trailer. Fuck, it just looks so fucking bad.
Should they give the X-Men back to Marvel at this point?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's over with.
The X-Men series, I mean, Logan's a pretty good place to end it, don't you think? Like,
Absolutely.
they still got like 3 movies planned for next year. They got Deadpool 2, which is like, okay, Deadpool can be his own separate thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
His movie doesn't even like seems like it cares to take place in the canon that's came out. But then they're also doing New Mutants and then X-Men Dark Phoenix. They already did Dark Phoenix and they're doing it again. And it's directed by someone who's literally never directed anything before. Just give it back to Marvel. I don't want to see their TV shows. I don't care. I don't even think Marvel TV shows are all that great.
Definitely a step above
Agents of
what
Shield.
this looks like.
Have you seen Agents of Shield?
I've seen a few episodes.
Have you seen Peggy Carter, Agent Carter?
No, I haven't.
I'm not gonna watch this either. I'd probably put that in the same category. They're making Inhumans. Did you see the trailer for Inhumans?
No.
Pretty shit. I just think everything related. I understand the rationale, like, oh, it's a new medium and we can tell longer stories and longer story arcs. No one cares. Make quality content and put it in a good movie, and like no one will care about the timing. Like, stop it, Fox. Give it back to Marvel if you don't know what you're doing.
It makes money.
But like, is it gonna make money off TV if no one watches it?
That's
so
true.
Fox, the only other comic book adaptation that I know Fox does on TV is Gotham, and Gotham I hear iffy things about. Like, it has its rabid fan base that are like, yeah, Gotham, you gotta watch, like, you gotta start season 3. That's with like the Joker and whatever. I don't care about how are you gonna make a Batman show when Batman's like 10 years old. I don't care about any of these things, and just stop it, Fox.
Just stop.
Just stop. You canceled Futurama too many times for me to trust you. Speaking of Resident Evil, Mila Jovovich is set to play the villain in Hellboy, Rise of the Blood Queen. So Hellboy's getting rebooted. I actually think that's a smart idea. I love Guillermo del Toro. I'm sad to know that there's not going to be a Hellboy 3 with Ron Perlman. But I'd rather see something with Hellboy than just, oh, nothing's ever going to happen to it. No one wants to pay me. I'm Guillermo del Toro. I don't know how I feel about this, Mila Jovovich. First of all, are you a big fan of the first 2 Hellboy movies? And what do you think about this casting?
I mean, I liked them.
Sure.
At the time.
Yeah.
When I was like pretty young.
They came out a long time ago, right?
I mean, it's definitely one of those things, too, where I kind of felt like it did need a reboot. Or something, honestly. I feel like it could definitely benefit from, like, today's technology. And
it was just kind of sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
No one was doing anything with it.
As for the casting, I've never liked her acting, to be honest. I just always thought it was...
She's really just known for the Resident Evil franchise at this point, right? And Multipass.
Multipass. Lilu that. I'm fucking done.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to this reboot, but this casting as the villain, I don't know. I don't think she's ever played the villain before, so maybe this will be her time to shine. I definitely don't care for her character as Alice in the Resident Evil series.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hate that series as it is. Like, that series just kind of ruined Resident Evil for me for a while. So
I think it's the only series I hate more than Transformers.
They're pretty bad. Well, Transformers sucks because Michael Bay is actually really trying to make something good. He's trying his hardest. The Resident Evil series, I can't tell. It's just a guy who casted his wife in the lead role, and is he just kind of making it for paychecks? It's hard to tell. They're not top quality. They're just forgettable as fuck. I can't remember which movie was with which what and what happened and where.
No, honestly.
They're all interchangeable. Yeah, that one needs a reboot too, since we're on the topic.
Oh, definitely. I think an actual, like, a reboot with a good director and, like, a decent cast would absolutely be fantastic, but...
Just stick to the source material, man. You know, a low budget, rated R film, just a couple of people went into a mansion and a zombie outbreak in the mansion. Like, that's
Honestly, I would even.
It doesn't have to be this weird, big budget Hollywood buckbuster movie. That just make a good small little horror film.
Honestly, I would even see see Leon in Raccoon City.
Leon,
see how that.
Help me, Leon. I think they ruined a lot of those characters. I would love to see them redeem themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We talking about Hellboy? Who cares? So the big news that came out this week is that Disney is pulling its movies from Netflix.
Yeah.
And that they're gonna launch their own streaming service. You feel a couple of types of ways about this, huh?
Yeah, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they're going to start pulling movies or just completely separate themselves in 2019, right?
It's correct.
Okay, I'm definitely curious to see how this works out because what are they going to do about all the Netflix originals they have? Like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Man with Iron Fist. They're all Marvel properties which belong to Disney.
Those are gonna have to stay Netflix. Well, it'll be interesting to see if they share it at all.
Yeah.
Because so Netflix doesn't make DVDs. Obviously, anything that comes out on Netflix stays on Netflix. That's where you get that content. But Daredevil, I think, was the first show that actually came out on DVD, and I believe the only reason that happened is because Disney sells DVDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what that's how they make money, in the home market. It'll be interesting to see if they share custody over that. I didn't even think about that. I was more thinking of, does Disney have enough content to warrant their own streaming service?
See, that's also what I'm thinking because it's, okay, what do you have? I guess you have the Disney collection.
Sure, like the old school Disney classics.
Yeah. Which, I feel like are definitely getting a little older at this point.
Yeah.
That's a lot of them are being rebooted, aren't they? Or
yeah,
remade?
A lot of the golden age was just in the 90s. All of them are getting rebooted. Mulan, they just announced casting for Aladdin. They want to do The Little Mermaid. They're coming out, yeah.
So you have the golden age. You have a bunch of Marvel movies.
You have their live action remakes. Star Wars.
I don't know.
It sounds like a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't, if that makes any sense.
It sounds like a lot of the same exact thing.
Yeah.
There's not that much variety. And I think this is really going to depend on the price point.
Disney does like to follow formulas. I love Marvel, but even their movies are very formulaic. They're pretty basic, I love them for what they are, but they do feel kind of samey at times.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of all the Disney movies are going to blend together too. I don't know. Is this a smart move on Disney's part?
I don't think so. I think they would have been better off just kind of sticking with Netflix.
I think everyone's trying to get into the streaming service game. Netflix is leading the charge for that right now, but
yeah.
I don't think everything deserves a streaming service. If Netflix had a deal with Disney, just keep that deal.
Yeah, honestly. I think they would have just done better, just staying with Netflix. And then if people want the Golden Age stuff, go ahead and buy it on DVD box set or Blu-ray, whatever. Like I said, I think this is really also going to depend on price point, how much they actually charge for the service.
What does Netflix charge right now?
I think they charge $8.99 for basic, and then $10.99 or $11.99 for their premium.
I don't think Disney should charge anywhere near that price.
No, in my head, I'm kind of thinking $5.
Maybe
$5, and then you get.
It is Disney though. They like their money.
It's true, but if they get a little too greedy, this is just gonna fail. Also, I'm some curious to see what if they just completely put everything on there, all their old Disney Channel movies and stuff like that.
Everything,
all
of their content.
And Disney, I feel like they definitely have some pull. They might be able to get
they're a huge company.
Yeah, so
they own half of everything in the world, maybe.
Yeah, so they can definitely pull some other stuff in there.
Well, what does that mean for future studios? Pretty soon Warner Brothers is gonna want their own streaming service. Paramount's gonna want their own streaming service. You're gonna have to need a fucking streaming service for just any studio.
I honestly don't think any of those other companies are big enough to pull something off like this.
They're going to want to try and follow suit. This streaming game is really cutting into their DVD and Blu-ray sales. So I think it won't be anytime in the near future. So this Disney thing isn't even going to happen until 2019.
Yeah.
So anything that happens afterwards, say it's successful, right? they will want to do the
Yeah.
same thing. And then only Netflix will have only Netflix original content. Warner Brothers will have Warner Brothers original content. Disney will have Disney. And then just everyone has to pick and choose. And then
eventually we're going to have like cable packages for different streaming services.
we're back to cable at that point, aren't
Yeah.
we? What was the point of all that? We just went full circle.
Hey, man, history repeats itself.
I don't know. Very interesting indeed. We're living in some interesting
Yeah.
times with movies and movie theaters and streaming services and whatnot.
Definitely going to keep a close eye on this.
Absolutely. So that looks like all of the movie news that was released this week. So join us for our next podcast where we're going to do a bit of reflecting on the 2017 movie season. That should be fun. Okay, bye.